thank you very much for the invitation, and I'm so sorry for joining you so late. But I'm sure that you had a fascinating day. I saw a glimpse of this Rishi's presentation on this completely new area. I was not aware that you are working on on Ayurveda, which is extremely, which is very important. I think it is important for two reasons. One, that you know we have uh, this modern nutritional theories uh, that we currently adopt. All dietitians, doctors are not even aware of nutrition. They are based on body of knowledge that has developed over the last 100 years or so. So modern nutritional sciences are just 100-year old. And of course, all of us have been there for millenniums. And therefore, this is far from adequate in explaining how food works on our bodies. Ayurveda, as we all know, is, I don't know how old is the Ayurvedic traditions. So that is the wisdom over millenniums that has got accumulated. And if we can somehow, you know, encode it and make it available to common man the way Rishi demonstrated just now, that's going to be fascinating. Its implication is going to be very, very important. Uh, Further, the second reason is that given that modern nutritional sciences are very new, I'm sure that the reality lies in some kind of a, synthesis of two bodies of knowledge. And that is why, I think the next task before you all is to provide how the two bodies of knowledge interact and provide better sense to all of us to maintain good health. So for these two reasons, I find this is extremely fascinating work that you people are doing. Okay, so let me begin by saying that you can look at world in two different ways. You can look at world at you know in micro level, at the level of molecules, then at atoms and subatom level, or bits and bytes, as you people do. Or so while this is very, very important, there is also another way of looking at the world at a system level. And I think because while looking at micro level and looking at macro level, at a system level, there are two different processes of thinking, but there is somehow the two intersect somewhere. And that is where the, the science has to actually move towards, particularly computational sciences, because when you are looking at small things, you have to connect it with what is really happening with individuals, with people at population level, with countries, with nations. So all of these need to get connected. I'm referring to it because as we speak today, it is the food day in COP28 in Dubai. So COP28, how many of you know COP28? What is COP28? Yeah, so yeah, so COP28 is the annual jamboree of on climate change, and that has become more and more important public event on climate change each year. I believe there are about 70,000 participants in Dubai attending the climate summit. Our Honorable Prime Minister was there a few days ago. So all heads of the states are there. So it's become a mega thing, and of course, with a lot of concern around climate change, it's gaining in importance. Food is new on the agenda in the climate summit. And earlier, when we are looking at impact of human activity on climate change, we are largely focused on on industry, transportation, energy. These were together considered as the big cause for worry, the way human civilization is working, and that is causing climate change. But now, when you dig deeper, climate, food, agri-food systems are becoming, and they are seen to be, as important threats to climate action as the other three. In fact, one third of the greenhouse gas emissions, somehow they relate to, the agri-food systems. This is something that many of you may not even have thought of, but common man, it does not come in our discussions. The implications of food we eat on climate is something that we have not even started thinking about. Forget about talking about it. Okay, but this is becoming a mainstream discussion globally. That food systems and how do we reform our food systems so that they are not only good for our health, as we all speak, but also good for our planet. That is the new discourse that is taking place across the world today. I have been part of that discourse over the last 3 years. After I left FSSAI in some sense, from 2020 onwards, there was a UN Food System Summit that was organized at a global level. I was part of the leadership team, and since then I've been part of those conversations at a global level. And Professor Bagler mentioned to you about the foundation that I currently lead. This is the Food Future Foundation. We are trying to figure out that what is it that we can do in our food systems, so that these food systems of the future are good both for our people and the planet. What I'm going to take you through in the next few minutes are trying to figure out what is it we can do. Okay, this is a huge task. I really don't know that how will this relate to the work that you are doing in the computational gastronomy lab. So that I have no sense absolutely. So I'll not be able to give any thoughts on it. But I'll definitely share with you the food systems as one can look at it from point of view of transforming those food systems. And before I come to the food systems, let me say that we only refer to one part of the challenges with our food system, which is greenhouse gas emissions in the context of COP28. But there are other issues with our food systems, biodiversity loss. 80% of the reason why why we are becoming, why our biodiversity is getting, less diverse is due to the food systems, particularly the monocultures. A few cereals that we consume, the fruits and vegetables that we consume, maybe less than 10, at single digit number. Most of us, 80-90% of the time, consume the same fruits and vegetables, same cereals, wheat or rice. Millets have now come onto the picture. But because this monoculture that is becoming, so biodiversity is very important. And I heard somebody else that while there is a serious issue of climate change and greenhouse gas emissions, whose implications are now becoming more visible, but implications of biodiversity loss are far more serious. So I don't know how, but you do some research, and I'm referring to somebody who is very, informed about these things, and it was a statement that he made recently. The freshwater crisis, 70% of the fresh water is used by agriculture. Soil health, I think 2 years ago there was a big issue on soil health, and soil health, because of fertilizer, chemicals that we use in our soil, is deteriorating, and it's very difficult to maintain productivity without having to add more chemical fertilizers, which further deteriorates the soil quality. And therefore there's a big movement towards agroecology based farming, which is natural farming, etc., etc. So I think there are many more issues connected with our food systems that we did not recognize so far, and they are so interdependent or interlocking issues that merely addressing one of them is not good enough. So I'll give you an example. I'm sure if some of you may be aware, a few weeks ago, uh, we had the World Food India, organized by Ministry of Food Processing, and in that event we were celebrating the success of food processing sector. So when I was in that conference, I was there in that conference 4 or 5 years ago also. I really didn't know whether we should be celebrating success of our food processing sector or we should be unhappy about it. Okay, we should be concerned about it, because today processed food in India is almost 30%. It was around 14-15% when I started my tenure in FSSAI, and perhaps a lot of regulatory challenges were addressed, and the food processing sector grew at 12-13% since then over the last 4 or 5 years. So it is 30%. If that growth continues, then the processed food in India will be around 50-60% in the next 5-6 years. So that is the rapid growth of the food processing sector, and this obviously is in the interest of businesses, in the interest of economic development, maybe in the interest of also, I don't know, small farmers. They claim it is in the interest of small farmers. I don't know how far it is true, but it definitely is not in the interest of human health. And I think there is lot and more evidence about how processed food is causing lots of public health problems as we see around us today. So therefore, addressing challenges of food systems at a macro level requires very different kind of framing of the issues. And that framing of issues is what I'm basically going to discuss about. Okay, so if you consider that food or food system is a puzzle, okay, and it has multiple pieces, so how do you solve that puzzle? How do you solve any puzzle? Forget about food puzzle. How do you solve a puzzle? Have you seen a jigsaw puzzle? Have you solved a jigsaw puzzle? How do you start with solving a jigsaw puzzle? Step by step. Wonderful. What will be the first step? Sorting, huh? Okay. Analyzing, okay. Huh? Okay, all right. What do you do next? You don't know what the pattern is because they are spread. You start with the corners, but you are assuming there is a corner. Some puzzle may not have a corner. So how do you do then? Huh? Which will be your first piece? How do you know that this is a centerpiece? Huh? Connecting the dots, okay. Huh. Connecting with the similar, okay. Huh. नहीं पिक्चर नहीं है पिक्चर ही तो नहीं है शेफ मंजीत पिक्चर नहीं है पिक्चर बनानी है पिक्चर होती तो कोई सॉल्व प्रॉब्लम ही नहीं है पिक्चर ही नहीं है वी शुड हैव ए थॉट हाँ यस कौन सा पीस लोगे पहला नहीं कोई कौन सा लोगे हैं Okay, so let us say that, all right, I think I played this puzzle in two other places. In MS University 2 days ago and 2 weeks ago in National Institute of Nutrition. Okay, obviously you're all reaching there, and I'm seeing that he's getting concerned about the timing, but we'll be over in 3 minutes with the puzzle. Okay, so you take the biggest piece of the puzzle. Okay, so you take what is the big piece of this puzzle, food puzzle, or food system? Huh? नहीं मुझे मैं फूड सिस्टम पजल का सबसे बड़ा पीस क्या होगा? हैं? एग्रीकल्चर, ओके? हैं? नहीं वो तो एग्रीकल्चर हो गया, हाँ सॉइल वाटर उसके में आ गया. फूड क्वालिटी मतलब डाइट एंड न्यूट्रिशन. So 2 big pieces of the puzzle. So you have, let us say you have 7 pieces in the puzzle, and the two big pieces of the puzzle are diet and nutrition, the quality of diet, what you take, etc., informed choices, lot of work that your lab is doing about all of it, diet and nutrition. And second piece of the puzzle is production, farmers, farming, soil health, that piece of the puzzle. Okay. What are the other pieces of the puzzle? Food, okay, so food businesses who process it. Okay. The next piece of the puzzle, huh? Policies and institutions, all right. Logistics, supply chain. Okay, so चार pieces हो गए आपके, तीन रह गए, huh? Okay, so what is the कंज्यूमर अवेयरनेस डाइट न्यूट्रिशन में आ गया, वो उसी पीस में डाल दिया हमने उसको. ओके, पांच हो गए पीसेस. हाँ, नहीं, I'll come to you. Why do we need to frame, when you're talking about solving any problem, you have to first frame the problem rightly. Because if you do not frame the problems rightly, you will never be able to solve the problem. So we are trying to frame the food system puzzle so that you can find out what action can we take to do it. Another piece of the puzzle is the food environments that we really talk about very much. And with the advent of technology and e-commerce, that is becoming somewhat less relevant as well. Food environment is that on this campus where you're staying, if you get only certain kind of food, that is what you will eat. Okay, so food environments, that is what somebody brings to this place. This is the retail food environments. Retail food environments in airports, retail food environments in some places. When you are at home, of course, this food environment stuff is not so much discussed in the concept of food systems, but this is becoming very, very important for a variety of reasons. And the last piece of the puzzle is, and all these pieces of the puzzle, as Chef Manjeet mentioned, that you can solve this puzzle any which way. Everyone will solve it differently. But when we are solving this puzzle, we are solving it with the purpose of taking it to the next step कि भाई अब बताइए कि इस piece of the puzzle में क्या actions हैं. So these are basically, they become the entry points of change. Each of these puzzle pieces become entry points of change. And therefore, all the issues that we discussed earlier, they can all be put in those different baskets कि यहाँ पर कुछ action लेंगे तो इसमें कुछ फर्क पड़ेगा. And these pieces are connected together, and when we were solving this puzzle, we basically thought 7 is a good number, let's not go beyond 7. And this puzzle was solved in Istanbul. When I was in a museum shop, I saw a 10-gram puzzle. So 10 gram में कितने pieces होते हैं? 10 gram देखा है आपने? 10 gram देखा है? 10 gram puzzle. एक चाइनीज पजल होता है, 7 pieces होते हैं उस पे. तो वो स्क्वायर, चार उसमें ट्राइंगल्स होते हैं, एक स्क्वायर होता है, एक रोम्बस होता है. So they are basically 7 pieces. So, and this interesting piece, 10-gram puzzle, you can make different shapes out of it. So there's a very interesting puzzle. हमारे पता नहीं स्कूल्स में नहीं पढ़ाते हैं शायद ये 10-gram puzzle, लेकिन ये चाइना का puzzle है basically. So it is made from one single square. फिर उसको काट कर वो अलग अलग पीस निकल जाते हैं उसी में से, एंड फिर उसको प्लेस कर सकते हो किसी भी फॉर्म में. एंड वी प्लेस्ड इट इन द फॉर्म ऑफ ए बटरफ्लाई. द रीजन इज दैट ऑल दीज पीसेस ऑफ द पजल, they have to be connected into something that you can relate to, and that is a butterfly. And there is a reason for making a butterfly out of it, because have you heard of a concept called butterfly puzzle, or sorry, butterfly effect? What is the butterfly effect? क्या होता है? हाँ. So the point is that These is so intimately connected with each other कि छोटा सा भी कुछ किया तो दूसरे पीस पर फर्क पड़ जाएगा एंड पूरा आपका पजल ही डिस्टर्ब हो जाएगा. So it has large consequences. Climate change is one such impact. छोटे छोटे चेंजेस हो रहे हैं लेकिन इसका इम्पैक्ट क्यूमुलेटिव इम्पैक्ट बहुत होने वाला है और बहुत हो रहा है, विजिबल भी हो रहा है. Now I think it was a little heavy duty session for you. But having said this, this is what we are, the Food Future Foundation is currently engaged in. We are trying to create a framework of action for changing our food systems, and therefore the activities and initiatives that we are taking, fall under all the 7 pieces of the puzzle. And the 7th piece that we did not mention so far, चलो 7th piece के बारे में बताओ. चलो 6 piece तो हो गए. 7th piece के बारे में बताओ. डाइट एंड कंजम्पशन एक हो गया, एक फार्मर्स और फार्मिंग हो गया, विच हैज़ टू मूव टूवर्ड्स स्मॉल स्केल फार्मिंग रादर देन इंडस्ट्रियल फार्मिंग, विच इज़ वेरी रिसोर्स इंटेंसिव. थर्ड हो गया फूड बिजनेसेस. फोर्थ हो गई आपकी सप्लाई चेन्स, फूड वेस्ट एंड. फोर्थ हो गया आपका फूड एनवायरनमेंट. फोर्थ या हाँ फिफ्थ, हाँ सिक्स्थ हो गया आपका पॉलिसी एंड इंस्टीट्यूशंस. सेवन्थ, हाँ फूड वेस्ट सप्लाई चेन में आ गया. हाँ 7th पीस क्या हो गया? 7th पीस रिवॉर्ड्स फॉर 7th पीस, वो सब उसी में आ जाएगा, फिट हो जाएगा. 7th पीस इज you people or all of you not as consumers, all of you who are going to play a role in defining the food systems of the future. So we are basically saying that unless the young people begin to recognize people who are going to take leadership of the world tomorrow, they begin to realize that that food that we have been taking for granted forever is something that we have to be really concerned about and look at food not merely from point of view of your nutrition and health, also look at it from point of view of environmental health, planetary health, its impact on environment, but also from point of view of livelihoods of people that are connected with our food systems. All of us recognize that millenniums of years ago that we were, all hunter gatherers. तो हम लोग ज़्यादा मतलब सब टाइम अपना तो खाना बटोरने में और खाने में लगाते थे ना. अभी तो most of us do not do it. Professor Bagler spends maybe half an hour and the entire day in eating related, food related issues, except thinking about food, which is not eating food. Some of you may be doing more. Chef Manjeet may be doing more with food directly. Okay, but most of us, our relationship with food is only very, much less than it used to be. But do you believe it that globally, 60% of the people, their livelihoods still come from the food systems. In India alone, 45% of the people are farmers. वो और कुछ भी नहीं करते हैं, पैदा ही करते हैं. They are only involved in production related. Take another 20% people in India, which may be in, small vendors, food production, logistics, distribution, chefs, hotels, restaurants. वो सब another 20%, 65% people in India. That is very large. That is 2/3 of the population. We don't even bother about them. I think we have to be concerned about them. That आप जो खा रहे हो और क्या आप चॉइस कर रहे हो, उसका implication उनकी livelihoods पर भी हो सकता है at some point in time. So I think the leadership of the future, the people who are going to take control of the future, they need to understand the implications of food systems. And I will close by saying that what I spoke and shared with you now, I have absolutely no clue, that how this will relate to Professor Bagler's computational gastroenterology lab or any one of you who are here. But these are issues that are, big issues, large issues, macro issues, and they also need to be thought of while we are thinking in terms of small and small and using bits and bytes, but also looking at large system changes, how they are put together, what is it that we can do to solve these problems. This is going to be important. Thank you very much.